Let's time travel, way past the 90s, all the way to 101, 150 AD. This is ancient history, togas, sandals, and zero Wi-Fi. But don't tune out. This era was wild. The Roman Empire was at its peak, running the Mediterranean like a boss. Forget boring textbooks. This is the real drama, the power plays, the ancient gossip. We're talking epic empires, legendary leaders, and ideas that still shape our world. Imagine the world's oldest social feed. Who is beefing? Who is thriving? Who is building walls? This 50-year slice is a blockbuster. Action, philosophy, and jaw-dropping construction. The High Roman Empire meant peace, but only if you lived far from the borders. It was a time of cultural exchange, brutal conquest, and big ideas. We'll meet emperors who acted like CEOs, philosophers dropping truth bombs, and builders who left monuments that still stand. Forget memorizing names. This is about the DNA of our modern world. Power, belief, borders, identity. A lot of it got a major update right here. We'll connect their world to ours. Wars in Dacia echoing today. Ancient philosophy that still feels fresh. Get ready for ancient vibes 101, 150 AD uncovered. This isn't just history, it's the origin story of the world you live in. So buckle up, because class is in session. Let's dive into the ultimate throwback. Welcome to the real ancient world. Picture the early 2nd century. No USA, no Russia, just a handful of superpowers. Rome was the ultimate global heavyweight, stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. If you lived near the Mediterranean, you lived in Rome's world. They controlled trade, politics, and culture, total dominance. But Rome had rivals. The Parthian Empire in the east, forever their frenemy, always clashing over Armenia and Mesopotamia. Further east, the Kushan Empire ran the Silk Road, getting rich off trade between China and the West. And in China, the Han Dynasty was a powerhouse, defending its borders and running its own show. Rome and Han China were like rival celebrities, aware of each other, trading through middlemen, but never meeting. The world was multipolar, but Rome was the main event. Geopolitics was all about borders, trade routes, and shaky alliances. Wars could break out anytime. Everyone was hustling for power. Rome pushed its borders, Parthia pushed back, Kushans cashed in, Han China held steady. This was the world stage empire's ambition and endless marching. If you wanted to know who was in charge, just look for the Eagle standard. Rome ruled, but the game was always changing. Meet Trajan, the Roman emperor who didn't just rule, he conquered. His main target, Dacia, modern-day Romania, led by the fierce King Decibelus. The Dacians had embarrassed Rome before, but Trajan was out for payback. In 101 AD, he launched a massive invasion. Over 100,000 soldiers, epic engineering feats, brutal mountain warfare. Trajan's strategy worked. Decibelus surrendered, Dacia became a Roman client state. But peace didn't last. Decibelus rebelled again. Trajan returned, this time building a permanent bridge across the Danube, a flex of Roman engineering. The Second War was ruthless. Roman legions crushed Dacian resistance. In 106 AD, the Dacian capital fell. Decibelus chose death over capture. Dacia was absorbed into the empire, and Rome scored a gold and silver windfall. That loot funded a building boom, Trajan's Forum, Market, and the iconic Trajan's Column, a stone comic strip of his victories. Trajan's conquest made Rome richer, bigger, and more powerful than ever. He set the standard for what it meant to be a Roman emperor. But every victory had its price. New borders, new challenges. Trajan's era was Rome at its most ambitious. His legacy, expansion, innovation, and a taste for epic wins. The empire would never be the same. Trajan's story is the ultimate ancient power move, and it all started with a grudge match in Dacia. That's how you make history. Rome's golden age was built on conquest, and Trajan was its architect, the ultimate victory lap, carved in stone. After Trajan, Hadrian took the throne in 117 AD and changed the game. Trajan conquered, Hadrian consolidated. He gave up some eastern lands, shocking Rome, but focused on securing what they had. His signature move? Building Hadrian's Wall in northern Britain, 73 miles of stone, forts, and checkpoints, a bold line between Rome and the wild north. Life on the wall was tough, cold, wet, and always on guard. The wall wasn't just defense, it was a statement. This is where Rome ends. It controlled movement, trade, and defined Roman identity. Hadrian's Wall marked a shift from endless expansion to holding the line. It was about protecting the empire, not just growing it. On one side, order and civilization. On the other, the unknown. The wall still stands, a symbol of Rome's limits and ambitions. Sometimes, the greatest power move is knowing when to stop. Spiritually, the Roman world was a mashup. The official religion worshipped gods like Jupiter and Mars. Part civic duty, part tradition. Emperors were even declared gods after death. But new beliefs were spreading. Mystery religions like the cult of Isis and Mithraism promised personal salvation and secret rituals. Stoic philosophy was the ancient self-help, focus on what you can control, stay calm in chaos. The elite loved it. Future Emperor Marcus Aurelius would be its poster child. Meanwhile, Christianity was a tiny, underground movement, seen as weird, even dangerous. Christians refused to worship Roman gods, leading to suspicion and persecution. But their message of love and equality kept spreading. The religious scene was crowded, competitive, and about to change the world. The search for meaning was as intense as the quest for power. Every era has its icons. Here are the A-listers of 101, 150 AD. Trajan, the conqueror, builder, and gold standard for emperors. Hadrian, the traveler, architect, and culture lover who built the Pantheon and Hadrian's Wall. Plutarch, Greek historian and biographer, the Dan Carlin of his day, making history personal with parallel lives. Epictetus, born a slave, became a Stoic philosopher. His teachings on inner peace and self-mastery still inspire. These figures shaped politics, culture, and thought. Trajan expanded the empire. Hadrian redefined its limits. Plutarch told the stories that made history human. Epictetus taught resilience in a chaotic world. Their influence lasted centuries. Shakespeare borrowed from Plutarch. Modern leaders quote Epictetus. They were the influencers, thinkers, and builders of their time. Their legacies are still with us. The ancient world's A-list wasn't just about power. It was about ideas. These were the people everyone talked about, and their stories still matter. So why care about 101, 150 AD? Because it's the blueprint for today. Borders, infrastructure, global trade, Rome wrestled with the same issues we do. Hadrian's Wall? It's the ancient debate about immigration and identity. Rome versus Parthia, the OG superpower rivalry. The Silk Road, the start of global supply chains. Stoic philosophy is back. Mindfulness, self-help, resilience, Christianity's rise, the ultimate underdog story changing the world. Studying this era is like looking in a mirror. Same ambitions, fears, and dreams. They built, they fought, they searched for meaning, just like us. Their mistakes and triumphs are lessons for today. The tea from 101, 150 AD isn't just old gossip. It's a masterclass in power and humanity. That's why it still slaps. History's mic drop.